Another common fungal disease is corn smut caused by the fungus Eustilago matus. So it infects the kernel as it's developing. If this is harvested before that corn kernel has completely turned into a mature fungal fruiting body, it's considered a delicacy, and in some stores you can buy it in a can. Once that fruiting body has turned into spores, it's not very yummy anymore. So basically, this fungus is turning the corn kernel into a mushroom, and if you get it at the right stage, it's yummy. If you're trying to go corn, then it's not so helpful. It's going to destroy the crop. All right, viruses. So there's been quite a bit about viruses in the news. Viruses are pathogens. We cannot see them with a light microscope. They only have nucleic acid and protein coat. So all that stuff we learned about cells early in the semester does not apply here. They're not cells. They don't have cells. They can only reproduce their protein and their nucleic acid in an infected host cell. It may have 3 or more different kind of proteins in the protein coat, and they are considered obligate parasites. They have no way to reproduce on their own. They've got no ribosomes. They've got no mitochondria. And when a cell is infected, the virus takes over the organelles of that cell. There are viruses that attack plants. There are viruses that attack people, viruses that attack animals. There are also viruses that attack bacteria, viruses that attack fungi, viruses that attack nematodes. There are some nematodes that are vectors of viruses. We could consider now a person that is asymptomatic for Corona-19 to be a vector because they can spread that virus to other people. Viruses that go to plants do not go to humans. This COVID-19 is unusual. That's why they used the word novel. It's very rare for a virus to go from one species of animal to another unless they're very closely related. So these animals that had the COVID-19, like the bats and the pangolins, happen to have some cell receptors, some cell surface receptors for angiotensin that are similar to the receptors in humans. And that's why, evidently, I don't know a whole lot about it, but that seems to be why it was able to jump from one animal species to another. Usually a virus is not going to move between species. All right, so there are some virus particles, and this is the rice dwarf virus, and you can see that it has a very regular shape. Each particle has the same shape. This is the protein coat that we're looking at. The RNA or DNA is inside there. Viruses can be RNA or DNA. They can be single-stranded or double-stranded. This is a tobacco mosaic virus particle, and it is a model organism. So tobacco mosaic virus has been used to study viruses in general. Tobacco is susceptible to a lot of diseases. Don't worry about learning this, but it is showing how that virus takes over the host cell machinery and is making its own proteins. Don't worry about learning that. Okay, there are the symptoms of tobacco mosaic virus. So one way that this is spread is through human contact, through hands, right? So this can be spread from tobacco to tomatoes. Those are closely related, and the virus can move from one to another. So you see that mottling in the leaves. That is very typical virus symptoms in a plant. You also have kind of a misshapen leaf. Normally tobacco leaf would be larger, smoother, and kind of just that medium green all over, not the different colors. All right, virus vectors can be humans, human hands, it can be clippers, whiteflies, aphids, various insects can all be vectors of viruses. We already mentioned nematodes as a vector of viruses. All right, there's aphids. We need to revisit aphid. See the cornicle there on the aphid? So that's the adult aphid, and you got the cornicle there. This is actually a shed skin. That is not a whitefly. That's the shed skin of an aphid, and then some immatures. So these also have a piercing, sucking mouth part, and they can. So they're piercing into that sap of the plant, and they can spread virus from one plant to another. Here we see wheat spindle streak mosaic virus, and then it can also cause color breaking in tulips. So there was a time when that was considered desirable. Now we get our variegation in color in tulips through the tulip genetics, not through the viruses. All right, symptoms on squash fruit. So this fruit is edible for humans, but you can imagine that a customer at the farmer's market is probably not going to pick that one up to purchase it. This papaya ring spot, and you can clearly see the symptoms compared to the healthy fruit. Dodder is a parasitic plant. So this little orange part is the dodder, and it strangles the plants, and it has haustoria that go inside the cells of the host plant. So they will actually penetrate in and suck the juice out of the host plant. I haven't seen a lot of this in California. I have seen some up at Black Mountain outside of Prather and Aubrey. Mistletoe is another parasitic plant. There's a ton of this in the area. It's very bad on the pear trees. Just another reason not to have pear trees. All right, that's it for our disease lecture. And check back for insects.